Right, Shalom, giving all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rahahodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone that rule well. Shalom to you, Akim, that we pushing this word around the globe in faith and in truth and sincerity. As always, I'd like to begin by saying that we are the real Hebrew Israelites. The real Israelites, these so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, and West Africans predominantly. However, you are going to get Israelites that do look like the other 17 nations because Israel has been scattered amongst all people throughout our various captivities. But if your seed line by your forefathers goes back to the man in the Bible that was named Jacob, then you too are an Israelite no matter what you may look like, because the book of Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18 in the Bible states that your lineage and your nationality is determined by the line of your forefathers. Okay, so I've got a little article here from Business Live going into list of shops that have collapsed into administration in 2020 as UK lockdown hits high streets. So let's get into this. It says the high street was under pressure before the pandemic and many retailers are now struggling to survive. Now this was published a little while ago on the 30th of October, just over 16 days ago. So let's see if it's updated. No, still 30th of October, but let's get into it nonetheless. So you can see you've got this sign closing down, all stock must go, 30% off absolutely everything. So these businesses are hurt, man. Let's go. It says Britain's non-essential shops are set to temporarily close again on Thursday, which would be the 5th of November, as England goes into a national lockdown for the second time this year. The lockdown, which will run until the 2nd of December, was announced by the Prime Minister on Saturday after a rise in the number of coronavirus cases across the country. According to Bristol-based Chambers of Commerce Business West, the restrictions could be ruinous for businesses that are forced to shut. UK high streets were under pressure at the start of 2020, even before the pandemic, and the future is looking bleak for many well-known brands. Despite an uptick in the sector over the summer, there is a marked difference between the booming online retailers and the bricks and mortar stores, many of which had already seen footfall shrinking. With the second wave of the pandemic underway, we have seen a record increase in the number of shuttered shops, said Helen Dixon, Chief Executive of British Retail Consortium. Shopping centres fared the worst among retail sites due to the higher proportion of fashion outlets where consumer demand has been hit the hardest. The uncertain climate has also meant that even those looking to expand are holding off making investments in new stores. As a result, we expect to see the retail vacancy rate continue to rise. But which UK stores have already gone into administration in 2020? Business Live takes a look at data gathered by the Centre for Retail Research (CRR), which reveals the retailers which have called in administrators this year. Edinburgh Woolen Mill (EWM) Group. The EWM Group, which also owns Peacocks and Jaeger brands, filed a notice of intention to appoint administrators in October. The group is owned by billionaire Philip Day. Steve Simpson, chief executive of EWM Group, told Business Live's sister site, The Mirror, the past 7 months have been extremely difficult, and warned that closures would be inevitable as the brand fought for its survival. According to the Financial Times this week, EWM was given more time to find buyers or new investors as an alternative to putting it into administration. It reportedly said in a message to staff that it was speaking to numbers of parties interested in investing or acquiring parts of the business, FT said. M&Co, I should say. The value of clothing retailer previously called Mackey's went into administrators and was bought by its previous owners as part of a pre-packed deal to save the business, according to CRR. What? In August, the chain confirmed it would be closing 47 stores and axing 381 jobs as part of a major restructure to secure the company's long-term future. M&Co said it would continue to operate with 218 stores and 2,220 employees after completing the restructuring, having hired Deloitte as administrators in April. DW Sports. The sportswear and gym retailer owned by Dave Whelan fell into administration in August, putting 1,700 jobs at risk. The company said its income was hit by the government-enforced closure of gyms and stores due to the COVID lockdown. According to PA, the firm said it would wind down its retail business for good, with its website ceasing trading with immediate effect and closing down sales starting. DW Sports operated 73 gyms and 75 retail sites across the UK. Shit's real, man. However, Fitness First, a sister company of DW, will continue to operate as a separate company, and its 43 clubs will be unaffected by the administration. Oliver Sweeney Trading. The bricks and mortar retail arm of the prestige shoe company Oliver Sweeney Group was placed in administration in mid-July, according to the CRR. The company's 7 stores, which include branches in London's Mayfair, Leadenhall Market, Covent Garden, as well as outlets in Leeds and Manchester, will remain permanently closed. The administrator does not affect the wholesale and online business, the CRR reports. Tim Cooper, Oliver Sweeney's chief executive and cobbler-in-chief, will continue to lead the company. He told Drapers, "We are disappointed that the stores will no longer continue, but we are confident and excited that about the brand going forward online. The online business is performing well." Peter Jones, China. The gifts and homeware retailer went into administration in mid-July. The 50-year-old company had stores in Barnsley, Doncaster, Batley, Huddersfield, Castleford, Pontefract, Wakefield and Wetherby, and has been closed for business since lockdown with its 70 staff on furlough. KPMG was appointed as administrator, and the business is expected to be liquidated according to the CRR. Norville Group. The Gloucester-based glass company Slovakia went into administration in July, but Bath-based designer eyewear firm Inspecs bought up the manufacturing arm of the business from administrators BDO for $2.4 million. The deal included a $1.2 million of freehold property in Norville's Gloucester site, and remainder of the stock, plant, IP and contracts. I guess IP means intellectual property, for those of you who don't know. Norville's operations were undertaken mainly at the company's headquarters in Gloucester and smaller bases in Bolton, Seaham and Livingstone. Benson for beds. Where are you going to sleep now? The bed retailer was put into the pre-pack administration in June. Turnaround company Altieri, Benson's existing owner, bought the business out immediately and put $25 million into the company to invest in its development, according to the CRR. There are 242 stores and 1,900 staff, and the company continues to trade, the CRR reports. Harvey's Furniture. UK's second largest furniture retailer was put into administration by its owners, Altier investors, on the last day of June, the same day as Benson's for beds, according to the CRR. The company, which has 105 stores and 1,575 staff, is reportedly looking to close 20 stores, and 240 jobs were made immediately redundant. Zeph Hussain, Peter Dickens and Yulia Marshall of PwC were appointed as joint administrators. The company continues to trade and existing orders will be carried out, CRR said. TM Lewin, a shirt shop. The retailer of shirts and ties went into pre-pack administration in June, according to the CRR. The firm had recently been bought by Stonebridge Private Equity through its subsidiary Talk Brands, with a new owner saying that the future of the entire retail sector was facing a very real threat. The retailer is to close all of its UK stores, and around 600 workers will lose their jobs, after the firm said it was going online only in a bid to save the 120-year-old brand. The Talk team has worked to assess all available avenues for the business model going forwards, but having done so, has formed the view that TM Lewin is no longer a viable going concern in its current format, it said. Bertram Books. The book wholesaler, which was found in a chicken shed in 1968, went into administration last week. The Norwich-based company appointed Turpin Baker Armstrong as administrators. According to the CRR, most of its 450-strong workforce were made redundant. The original owner of the company, Kip Bertram, sold the business in 1999. He told the BBC the collapse was very sad for the staff of the city of Norwich and the customers. Go Outdoors. JD Sports bought back its Go Outdoors business for $56.5 million after pushing it into administration this month. It said the move would preserve as many jobs as possible at Go Outdoors, which sells waterproof clothing, bikes and camping products. However, JD Sports said it will push forward with a major restructuring of Go Outdoors, which employs 2,400 staff and intends to retain the majority of its retail stores. The retail group hired administrators from corporate finance from firm Dolliet after it saw sales hammered by the coronavirus crisis. Lee Longlands. Boy, this is a hell of a long list, man. How long is this going for? Well, let's roll with it, man. Let's keep going. These businesses are hurt, man. So it says Lee Longlands. The historic Birmingham retailer, founded more than a century ago, was placed into administration this month. The high-end furniture chain has appointed financial services firm Duff & Phelps as administrators while it continues to battle the effects of the coronavirus pandemic and lockdown. A statement from Duff & Phelps said the move was necessary to protect the retailer, but reassured customers it was business as usual and that orders would be fulfilled. Lee Longlands was founded in Birmingham in 1902 by Robert Lee and George Longland, and they operated the first store at 304 Broad Street, taking advantage of its location next to the canal to bring in timber. Oak Furniture Land. The UK's largest retailer of oak furniture was saved from the brink of collapse in June after being brought up in a pre-pack administration deal. The chain was sold for an undisclosed sum to hedge fund Davidson Kempner, saving 1,491 jobs. The retailer, which operates 105 showrooms in the UK, had been struggling with adverse trading conditions caused by the Covid-19 pandemic, according to administrators Dolliet. Deloitte, Slovakia. Business operations are continuing as normal according to Deloitte, and showrooms and warehouses began to reopen last week. Le Pan Quotidien, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Slovakia. The bakery chain was sold out of an administration pre-pack deal in mid-June. The Belgium-owned chain UK's business was bought. The Belgium-owned chain's UK businesses was bought by a new vehicle, Branch Co 21, according to the CRR. A total of 11 of its 26 outlets have been closed, with a loss of around 200 jobs in stores and the closure of the UK head office. The new owners are reportedly negotiating a deal with landlords for the remaining 16 properties. Monsoon. The fashion chain announced today, June 10th, it expects to cut 545 jobs from the business, despite founder Peter Simon buying the chain out of administration almost immediately. A total of 35 stores are also expected to close across the UK. The deal will transfer around 450 jobs to Adena Brands, owned by Mr. Simon, which has promised to inject $15 million into the business to allow re-emerging stores to stay open. Mr. Simon will try and negotiate with the landlords to get a better deal on the remaining 162 store leases. Quiz Queen. Quiz. Wow, oh, Quiz. This is one that a lot of girls shop at, don't they? Quiz Clothing. Let's see. The clothing retailer is reportedly placing the division that runs its 82 standalone branches into administration, according to the ITV, which said 93 jobs are at risk. The move is reportedly a part of a restructure to get rid of loss-making stores and reduce the company's rent bill. The group reportedly said 822 of the 915 staff affected by the decision will remain with the group. Victoria's Secret, another one that girls shop at. The UK arm of the luxury lingerie retailer fell into administration this month, putting more than 800 jobs at risk. The chain has 25 shops in the United Kingdom, which are currently closed in line with government lockdown rules. Auditing firm Deloitte has been appointed as administrator and is now seeking a buyer for the business. It said there would be no immediate redundancies. Aldo. The list goes on and on, man. The UK arm of Canadian footwear chain Aldo went into administration in May. 5 UK stores have been permanently closed according to the CRR, leaving 8 surviving while administrators seek new owners for the UK business. It is not clear how many jobs could be affected. Johnson Shoes. The 50-year-old shoe retailer fell into administration in May after being hit by the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. Johnson Shoes operates 12 stores under the brand Johnson Shoes and Bowley's Fine Shoes. The retailer has stores in Windsor, Newbury, Staines, Teddington, East Sheen, New Maiden, Twickenham, Walton-on-Thames, Northwood, Richmond, Beaconsfield and Farnham. Now, I'm just putting this out there. Those are all predominantly Edenwhite areas, so it's very interesting to see this. All the retailers' 145 staff have been furloughed while the administrators seek a buyer to try and secure jobs and get the best deal for creditors. Antler. The luxury luggage retailer, which was founded in 1914, went into administration last month and 164 people were made redundant. Will Wright and Steve Absalom of the KPMG's restructuring practice were appointed joint administrators to Antler Holdings Limited and Antler. The company operates 18 retail stores and 1 concession outlet, in addition to selling via their website, Amazon, and wholesale to several large retail chains across the UK. The business employed around 199 members of staff, the majority of whom were placed on furlough before the administrators were appointed. Oasis and Warehouse Group. These female clothes shops have been hit hard, man. The company behind Oasis and Warehouse went into administration in April. Auditing and advisory firm Deloitte was appointed as administrator and it had said all stores will close indefinitely and online sales will be stopped. The fashion brands have been sold to restructuring business Hilco, according to The Guardian, in a deal which includes stock but not the 92 stores or 437 concessions. Speaking in April, Hash Lader, chief executive of Oasis Warehouse, said, "This is a situation which none of us could have predicted a month ago and comes as shocking and difficult news for us all. We as a management team have done everything we can to try and save the iconic brands that we love." Debenhams. Debenhams confirmed it formally entered administration at the start of April. It is the second time the department store, which employs around 22,000 people, has gone into administration in the last 12 months. The retailer had already announced the closure of 19 UK stores in January, but since April it has announced that another 20 will not open. However, as part of a restructuring, Debenhams has struck deals with landlords to keep 120 stores open, according to the BBC. Cath Kidston, Slovakia. The retro fashion chain will not reopen any of its shops when the lockdown ends, after calling in administrators last month. However, the owner of Cath Kidston has secured a deal to buy back the brand and its online operators, but does not include the bricks and mortar shops. The closure of stores will lead to the loss of around 900 jobs, according to The Guardian. Autonomy Clothing. Women's fashion brands Autonomy went into administration in March and all 44 employees were made redundant, according to the CRR. The retailer had 3 standalone stores in Newcastle under Lyme in Staffordshire, Bidford in Devon, and Tilcoultry in Scotland, as well as more than 100 concessions across the United Kingdom. All concessions and stores were closed temporarily in line with government guidance, and there are reportedly no plans to reopen them according to Drapers. Lombok, the furniture company, reportedly went into administration at the end of March. The retailer, which operates online, has experienced two pre-pack administrations before in 2009 and 2011. All 43 staff were made redundant according to the CRR. Not so Bright House, which is actually called Bright House. Rent-to-own high street retailer Bright House went into administration in March, putting more than 2,000 jobs at risk. The chain had announced plans to axe 30 stores in February in a bid to salvage the company. Then all stores had to close because of the coronavirus lockdown. It now appears all 240 stores will remain closed and 2,400 employees will lose their jobs, according to Wales Online. Administrators said that 200,000 customers will need to keep making payments, with administrators either running down the lending book or seeking to sell it on. Laura Ashley is in ashes. The fashion retailer went into administration in mid-March, but the US-based restructuring company Gordon Brothers bought the chain out of administration in April. The retailer's high street stores are currently closed due to lockdown, and 1,669 staff have been furloughed on the government's job retention scheme. It is still unclear what will happen to stores after restrictions end. Cirque.com. The online bathroom retailer collapsed at the end of February. According to a report by the Telegraph accountancy firm, BDO was attempting to find a buyer after the firm's turnover reportedly dropped from 70 million in 2018 to 43 million. Ooh, ouch. Corporate recovery specialist Leonard Curtis was later appointed as the administrator after Cirque.com failed to find a buyer. And the list goes on and on. TJ Hughes Outlet Division. The company behind the outlet division of TJ Hughes collapsed in February, but was later bought out of administration by a rescue deal. 4 Lewis Home retail outlet department stores were reportedly sold through a pre-pack sale to LHR Holdings, saving more than 150 jobs. However, according to the administrator Springfield's advisory, it was not possible to sell several smaller outlets, reportedly leading to 80 redundancies and 5 store closures. LHR Holding owns 18 TJ Hughes branded department stores nationally, as well as tjhughes.co.uk, and they were not affected. Hawkins Bazaar. Gift and toy chain Hawkins Bazaar collapsed into administration in January, putting 177 jobs at risk. The Norwich-based company suspended its website, but reportedly said it would continue trading from its 20 stores until further notice, Wales Online reports. The company drafted in Mooresfield's advisory as administrators to seek a rescue deal after it suffered a challenging Christmas period. Ashby's Furniture. The large furniture retailer in Kent went into administration in February and closed its store after 15 years. The shop, which sold mattresses and furniture for bedrooms, living rooms and dining rooms, appointed Vincent John Green and Mark Newham of Crow UK as administrators. In a statement to Kent Online, the owners said unfortunately prolonged and continued M20 junction and A10 roadworks have caused a devastating downturn in trade in the last 3 years, combined with increased rent and business rates. The family business could not continue trading. Trading. Beals. How much more of this is to go? Well, it's all good news to me. Beals. The department store chain collapsed into administration in January after failing to find a last-minute buyer to rescue the 139-year-old business. In March, the joint administrators confirmed all remaining outlets would cease trading. The retailer employed around 1,000 people. The firm has stores in locations across the country, including Southport and Wolverhampton. Herring Health and Mobility. The chain of Herring and Mobility stores reportedly called in Grant Thornton, as administrators in January. Alistair Wardle and Richard Lewis were appointed to oversee the winding up of the company, according to Access and Mobility Professional. The company sold hearing aids and medical and orthopedic goods in specialized stores. Man, oh man, oh man. Houseology. The online designer furniture and homeware retailer went into administration in January with the loss of 23 jobs, reports CRR. However, the company was snapped up by homeware brand Olivia's, part of the Moot Group, for an undisclosed sum, according to insider.co.uk. Bureau, its office-orientated associate business, continues to trade and is not affected by Houseology's administration. Is it the end? Well, it's far from over. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Mosai's just getting warmed up on destroying this place. Let's get some precepts. So let's get into it. I think I want to grab Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. And it reads, remember now in thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. Here's the point. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. Now the reason why the scriptures say the grinders will cease because there are few, meaning that there's not going to be no jobs. You know, I hear people grinding at the mill, or working, blacksmiths working with their metal, stuff like that. You're not going to be hearing that because a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. And those that look out the windows will be darkened because the grinders are few, you know. And it says, when the doors shall be shut in the streets, meaning these shops, when the sound of the grinding is low, so there's very little commerce taking place. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Yeah, a lot of these celebrities can't make any money because if you're an actor, a lot of the film studios are closed. You know, they're not able to shoot their films. If you're a singer, you're not able to do your tours and your concerts. What are you going to do? You know, the daughters of music are being brought low. Verse 5. Also, no, I'm going to stop there. No, let me keep going. Verse 5. Also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fear shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden. Now, the reason why the grasshopper is going to be a burden is because the grasshopper is going to be eating all the food. So there's going to be a burden because that can cause famine, because when there's very little food, you get famine. Yeah? So the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about in the streets. Now, I'm going to jump from here into 2nd Ezra's, the 9th chapter, I believe. The angel said unto Ezra, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. When thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that this is the very same time, wherein the Highest shall begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of these things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For as like all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the Highest have plain beginnings in wonder, and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved shall be able to escape by his works, and by faith whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land, and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning, speaking of the elect of Israel. Here's the point. Then shall they be in pitiful case which have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me, and they that have loathed my law while they yet had liberty, and when as yet a place of repentance was open unto them, understood it not, but despised it. The same must know it after death by pain. And therefore be not thou curious how the ungodly shall be punished, and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is, and for whom the world was created. What else do I want? Nope. That's not what I want. Yeah, let me read 2 Ezra 15. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord Yahushai. I believe that's the Lord Yahushai. And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the earth, the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and the righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with the plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. And that's exactly what's happening right now. The Most High and Yahushai are smiting this world with the plagues by destroying all these shops and all these businesses and bringing this economy down. The Most High is, taking Esau's system apart brick by brick. This is what we're witnessing right now, because we are at the end of this thing. And it says, but I will bring them out with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and will smite Egypt with the plagues as before, and will destroy the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague, and the punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fall through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands. So you're going to see a lot of rioting taking place. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading of one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbour, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and shall spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. And that's the end of that. That's the point I wanted to bring out. So we're seeing a lot of shop closures, a lot of people losing their jobs, being put on furloughs, people being forced into this universal basic income bullshit. This is all the Most High's plan, and it's being carried out to the letter. So there's nothing Esau can do. Esau, your time is up. Your society's finished. You're going down. And us Israelites that are of the hopeful elect are enjoying watching you fall. Because you tried to make us as a people fall for the longest time. You tried to put the bottle to our mouths to make us drunk with your vain and false philosophies. But through the spirit of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, we've woken up and we've risen up. And we're bringing you down through the spirit of prophecy and these words of truth that we're speaking through the grace, will, and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. So this is the end of the lesson. It's a bit longer than I intended, but it is what it is. So giving all praise and glory unto Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rahakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that will well. Shalom to you, Akim, be pushing this word around the globe in faith and in truth and sincerity. And until the next lesson, I'll say Shalom wa abababa. Kwam Yeshua. Shalom.